before I do my standout tracks, I'm going to start with a little bit of a preemptive kind of discussion or
Sure.
about Slipknot. So, for a good chunk of time, Slipknot steadily grown a ravenous fan base, known for their high energy shows. I mean, they were born in the new metal movement. One of my favorite um, metal kind of categories back in the day, the early 2000s, Mudvayne, Il Nino, Slipknot, the American Head Charge, all these bands kind of like, they kind of
Limp Bizkit.
fuse Limp Bizkit. Like, shut up, Kyle. All right, listen, we don't speak of that name. All right.
What?
No, I mean Limp Bizkit, yeah, they're in there. The fusion of hip hop, turntables, rappy kind of lyrics, with metal and hardcore has always been something that's always kind of like uh gained some traction, and from their 7 album span, every album has gravitated towards more clean singing, less brutality, more clean singing. And obviously they find that album where they try to reinvent that old self. Let's put out that heavy album, let's try to top our previous self, but it's always difficult. Being one of the flagship bands of Roadrunner, they were, right up there with Nickelback. Apparently, yeah. God help us. But yeah, like, they were one of the top Arsenal, like topping the Billboard 200. They were on massive tours with all these bands, or these other artists who they shouldn't even have been, like they should be. But I'm saying, like, people are like, why is Slipknot right up there with, like, I don't know, like Pink or one of these other artists who are on the top Billboard charts? And it's just like, because Slipknot has such the maggots, man, the pulse of the maggots. They are always elevated them to the kind of popularity that they got to, and a lot of the rumors of this band always ending 2003 13, they were like, oh, something's gonna happen, they're this, they're that, and here we are with an album that, like I was saying before, kind of feels a little bit obligatory, feels a little affected by COVID, feels a little rushed, has some very experimental elements, which usually when you have experimental elements, it's usually the sign of a band's lack of identity, or they're being tired of doing a certain style of music so much, and they kind of feel like spreading their wings a little more, and kind of soaring to a different kind of sound or trying something new, which is cool. But I always believe in side projects for that, versus um, the actual album. So yeah, just to get to the songs, my top songs, Hive Mind was the song. Hive Mind was the only song on the album that really felt to me like a true Slipknot song. That freaking riff in the beginning is awesome. The whole even the creepy noises at the beginning. Only issue with this song is the chorus kind of sounds similar to previous choruses done on a couple of the songs, like the Dying Song, or the Chapeltown Rag. Has that problem throughout this album, where that chorus kind of does that, and it's this kind of style of singing that Corey's doing in this album, which is a little more experimental. It comes off like very like a lot of the songs have the same kind of hit the same kind of notes. He's doing a kind of off pitch kind of singing on purpose. It's almost this very stylistic. Kind of reminds me of like Bowie a little bit. Kind of reminds me of uh um Alice in Chains, some of these like real moody kind of like songs. Yeah, so Hive Mind, I mean, that's it. That's the number one song. And if as we come down the scale to some of the other songs that are kind of meeting it a little bit further down, another song I really liked was Yen. I thought that was cool. It had a nice the chorus was a little repetitive, but I liked the chorus. Had a good atmosphere to it. Interesting throwback sounds on this one. Also Acidic. This is a creepy freaking song. This is a creepy song. Although the vocals kind of drive me nuts at times, and are almost a little over the top, trying to sound just different than his usual experimenting with strange kind of that style. I This song grew on me. Yeah. So like, and then my songs I hated the most, I hated H377. I ain't gonna say the name of that song. I hated that song. I'm using Kyle's. I hate that song. Like, it starts off so cool. Like it started off something from like what's the name of that band? Like Suicide Silence, like the beginning kind of had this cool like rhythmic thing happening with this like startup, like we're about to just chug into the song, and then it just had this generic guitar riff in the beginning, and it just kind of like this the cheesy one of us knows who hates me, one of us loves it. It's just oh God, what the hell is that? What I mean, one of us knows who hates me, one of us loves it. Corey, please, man. What the hell is that? And then Heirloom was the one that actually starts off with like that cool intro and then goes into uh a horrible riff. Hell is the one that has the cheesy line. I mixed that up. Sorry. But yeah, like so and then also Warranty. I hated that song too. There was, it just has some weird things going on with the vocals. I kind of like the weirdness of it, but it just feels like it doesn't fit into the song. And then songs that I was okay with that are okay. Chapeltown Rag. I'm actually one of the few people that actually was not in love with that song. The blast beats were cool, but they felt a little out of place and interrupted the flow of the song because it was like, here's the blast beat part. And then like it would go back to the song and then the blast beat part would come back again. It wasn't like, hey, here's the blast beat part over top of the flow of the song. It was like when the blast beats were happening, it was just kind of like they were just by themselves, you know what I mean? It just felt off. And then the dying song was pretty standard affair. And then Adderall was just a strange song. It was kind of cool stylistically, but once again, there's a major problem with this album and its songwriting is it just kind of repeats. You know what I mean? It's just like that's his like vocal pattern, and it just doesn't go off somewhere. It kind of repeats it almost like a nursery rhyme. Mary had a little, it just feels like this album was a little lazy, a little uninspired, and just kind of something that maybe Corey, maybe the band was just interested in kind of doing versus like really hitting it home and having some good musical kind of evolution. So yeah, so my general feeling of the parts that I liked and disliked.